Street Fighter V, brought to you here by Damn It Dom. I am Brad Muse, and joining us for the first time on the Casa Weeklies is Nagaremi. Nog, how are you doing? I am excited to have you here. I hope that you're excited to be here.
Yo, I am hyped to be here. I've been trying to get in here for months, but my work was always, hassling me to, work my full shift on Fridays. But then they changed my schedule, so I can do this now. So I'm glad to be here. How you doing tonight?
I'm doing pretty good. I'm scoffing at the idea of working a whole shift on a Friday. Real talk, I stepped out at noon today to go and meet up with some ex-coworkers and spent 2 hours at a coffee shop in the cold, not working. Hope my employers don't watch this, but they probably never do.
Well, you always got to be careful.
I don't
But
know. I mean, what are they going to do? I'm salary as long as my shit
uh,
gets done.
that's fair. But that's enough about all of us. We are here to watch some good Street Fighter, and bringing it to us is going to be Akuma level 2 and Hold the Salt.
Yeah, so
Should be.
I'm not familiar with Hold the Salt. We've seen Shinakuma more than once here. I made some D&D jokes that nobody appreciated because he has leveled up and did not choose the multi-class. Still out here repping the Akuma. Hold the Salt, bringing us the Cammy. If there's a character that's going to make you hold some salt, it's probably Cammy. Or Seth.
Yeah, but I mean, if there's any character that's going to do well against Akuma here, it's probably going to be Cammy. A lot of mobility, a lot of different air options to also combat, Akuma's multitude of air options. But we'll see. These players look like they're feeling each other out here at the beginning, both just, playing this footsie game back and forth.
Okay. Early, knowing that you can get away with that jump air fireball, starting to mix up those options. Yep, tries for an anti-air that time. That's 2 for 2 that you've gotten away with it.
Yeah, but nice hit there, but not going to be out of the corner for long, going right back in. Demon flip throw, got throw baited as well. This is going to be some good damage here. One more for the stun. Nice tech.
Okay, the V-trigger activation. Damn, that was just short.
Yeah,
And
but the parry on the dive kick was sick as well, but fortunately Akuma putting himself in the corner here.
Oh no, doesn't believe in the counter hit jab, but believes in the counter hit jab then. So one of the things I was going to point out is it seems like we see Akuma go to in this matchup comparatively often, the V-skill parry through a lot of the air options from Cammy. If like you can parry the hit from a fast air option, or you can just go straight into the anti-air option straight out of it for a conventional jump. It's a really strong tool to go with. A bit of a missed dive kick there from Hold the Salt trying to get out of the corner.
Yeah, absolutely. Miss on both of those little forward confirms, but just spending the EX to get out of the corner. Maybe meant to be a DP there, but out of the corner is still a good situation here for Hold the Salt.
That's an unfortunate trade. Oh no, ducking through the grab. No hit confirm off of that? Oh. Well, there's been a lot of whiffed dive kicks here from Hold the Salt. A lot of instant jump medium kick.
Oh. Yeah, Akuma trying to get some good baits, going to activate there on the block. Try to take his plus frames, but abusing them too much. Hold the Salt, missed the super, did it too slow.
No!
Yeah, I was gonna say I looked at the height, but nice DP after the fireballs, right? Akuma is pretty negative there.
I was about to say, up until that second, if you look at that round, what lost Hold the Salt that round a lot was a couple of errant execution errors. Finding that DP in the clutch there, walking forward quite far into that demon flip was Hold the Salt that time. And try to low forward underneath these fireballs. Okay, very smart adjustment. The late dive kick out of the jump to blow up the anti for Shinakuma.
Yeah, the big DP whiff there. That's going to put Akuma down in life and in the corner, about to get stunned. One more, and he jumped. Used the EX stop sign, just get some space to miss. Dive kick again. Hold the Salt. Gotta keep himself, really aware of these dive kicks that he keeps missing.
Oh, wow. I mean, that one might have been an honest air-to-air there. Wow, Hold the Salt scraped that by the hair of their chinny chin chin. And one thing to point out is I liked the play that happened in the corner just outside of stun at the end, or not at the end, but when stun was going to be a factor for Hold the Salt there. The problem was, went for the normal grab for maximum scaling on the stun combo, and Akuma held up back out, but there was not an anti-air option select out of Hold the Salt. It would have been the perfect decision had there been an option select behind that normal grab. When you're prepared in that situation, you really kind of need to have at least an anti-air button ready if you see them holding up out of your throw mix-up.
Yeah, and it's also one of the things where Hold the Salt really needed DP on deck, because Akuma does have that EX stop sign in the air with the air fireball, right? Like it's really good at punishing you for doing your normal anti-airs. The DP would have been king there, but we're getting back into it here and hold the salt, getting some good damage. Another counter hit, this time a crush into the corner. Does he have enough damage though?
No, I don't imagine so, but it's a one-touch game here. Going for some simple frame traps, slowing it down. Oh no, walks forward into the towards Fierce.
All right, but pressure is building here. He tacked again, and this is going to be one more touch for the stun here. Super's about to be on deck as well, but no, just mashing it out.
But it's worked. A lot of these DPs from Hold the Salt have gone unchallenged. They've worked fine as anti-airs, and that's the first one we've seen as a reversal, and it's worked out. And we've seen a couple of these counter pokes here from Hold the Salt. Shinakuma's throw game has been a little bit loose.
Yeah, absolutely. And we were seeing like the adjustment from Shinakuma here, trying to get a lot of aggression early to try to take the life lead, but Hold the Salt, after getting hit a couple times, was able to recoup. Now looking in total control, DPing the demon flips, but got activated on here. Got the side swap as well. One toss. Always have to be scared of the demon. All right, and just the chip out here. Smart Shinakuma just knowing he needs something on the board to shift this momentum in his favor. Spend all of the meter that's required to get that W, to get something to save you from going out of the tournament or into loser's bracket in this case.
Nobody wants to be requisitioned down to the basement. Finding the air-to-air has stayed on the same side both times on that air flip tech, and we've seen Shinakuma block it every time. I'm waiting for Hold the Salt to bring out some like level 2 mix.
Yeah, and it was an excellent whiff punch there from Hold the Salt. Didn't carry him very far now. Locked down in the corner against these demon flip mix-ups. Tagged himself again. So many of these forward heavy punches from Shinakuma have been working out. Got the stun. Not quite going to have enough to kill. Going to need one more mix.
Oh, gets the air flip, but the counter poke out from Hold the Salt. Just like that, I like not spending any of the V-trigger charge to maintain the corner. The back throw out is unfortunate. That's very telling. It was a delay back tech, worried about a DP perhaps.
Yeah, and I mean the raw activation there from Shinakuma just to give, Hold the Salt some more things to think about. Give, Shinakuma, who had no meter left, that option to have that invincible reversal against, a dive kick, a V-trigger enhanced dive kick nonetheless. And then he was just able to walk in a little bit closer, throw those V-trigger enhanced fireballs at a distance where it's really tough for Hold the Salt to react with that super or for the enhanced spiral arrow. So that is going to take us into a game number 3 here, where we have to find out who's going to take it. Both players have had their own moments of looking strong, and the other players adapted. So I wonder what Hold the Salt has left in the tank here.
Yeah, I feel like if I had to evaluate this, if Hold the Salt wasn't getting some of these execution mistakes that we're kind of seeing from them, I feel like the game would be a little bit tighter. I think the footsies have been really good. The biggest thing is every towards Fierce from Shinakuma has been working. Hold the Salt is teching every time virtually. Ooh, nice corner carry on that combo.
Yeah, I got one toss, and it's just chipping away at this life. Nice DP. They're ready for the jump back this time. Meaty dive kick still a little too high up, but got hit, counter hit. Allowed Shinakuma get this nice activation for himself. One more touch will take it. 2 more touches after that demon flip mix, and he's out with the spiral arrow. I love that decision. Spin the meter just to keep yourself safe.
Oh no, the counter poke. And just like that, Shinakuma is on set point now. Hold the Salt, it seems it's so close when Hold the Salt is losing.
Oh my goodness, Shinakuma just swinging for the fences here. Hold the Salt putting out that stop sign with the DP there on the demon flip, but still getting pushed to the corner here and backed up. No anti-air coming out.
Okay,
Beautiful
going
react.
under. Yeah, and crucially gets the side switch as well, which corners Shinakuma as a result of the combo after the fact. No hit confirm up that low forward, but that time ready for the up back. I think you're going to be able to kill. Yes, has to spend the bar, unfortunately, by a hair, but manages to clean it out. And true Shin final round between Shinakuma and Hold the Salt.
Yeah, really coming down to the wire here. Of course, Shinakuma coming in with a large meter advantage here. Almost has critical art. This could be, what could have been a big start, but that EX fireball miss is going to give Hold the Salt some good damage here and some good control.
Yeah, unfortunately misses out on that anti-air on that neutral jump, but I like that Hold the Salt waited for the landing after the missed stop sign. to get the landing punish for more damage and more core
Hold
carry.
the
I think that's
trade
really
combo
smart.
into the super. Yo, like I was prepared. Missed the
Oh,
meaty
no!
situation, but didn't get heavily punished for it either. Now we're just back to this neutral. Nice buffer there. Got the confirm. Tried to lock down in the corner. One more touch.
Oh, blocks it, but doesn't punish the slide, and a whiffed. Oh no, that was a whiffed dive kick.
Yeah.
Oh my
Yeah,
god.
there was so much to
scrambles.
unpack there. Oh, a whiff dive kick that Akuma tried to parry late, just didn't work out, and there was no punish on the parry either. A little bit more scramble there, but then the back throw from Akuma able to close it out and advance him in this winner's bracket.
That was there was a lot. I mean, at the end there, it got super scrambly, but I think the big thing for me was looking at it from the perspective of Hold the Salt is there were a couple of situations where you could tell there were some execution mistakes, dive kicks that didn't end up working out. Crucially, going unpunished a lot, but obviously it's representative of not perfectly executing on the game plan. And I have to wonder if Hold the Salt had slightly more control over the Cammy, what the difference may have been.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's definitely something that they can, take back and review when they're, going back and trying to get better is like, okay, why did I lose this match? I mean, one part of it is like, yeah, you have execution, then you have like your game plan and then how you adapted. But like that execution was such a large part of it. So many missed dive kicks that cost him a lot of life or cost him a lot of pressure or screen positioning. And you really just can't have too many of those, especially when you start fighting against a competitor like Akuma level 2 that's going to punish you heavily for these.
Yeah, that's tough. But you know what costs nothing for you viewers at home is to go over to that Matcherino that's there in the chat and use coupon code Casa SFV21 to throw in a free 50 cents to that prize pool. Grand Blue is still going as well. You can use the same code, well, a similar code, Casa GBVS21 over on the Grand Blue Matcherino to contribute to that one. It costs nothing for y'all, and the money goes straight to our players. There's only X amount of codes. We've had some great weeks showing out for that, and we want to keep showing the players this love, and that only happens if y'all keep showing us the love. And we obviously appreciate every code that all you guys are using. And speaking of using, I don't have a segue for that one, but we're going to go right into BoomiFGC and FireFistSabo. I got a little ahead of myself there and thought I had a clever segue, but I don't.
Yeah, speaking of using, we got BoomiFGC. Boomy using that Zeku to the fullest performance here. We're going to see what he can do here up against FireFistSabo, I believe was the name. And, rocking that Mika, using that Mika. So, maybe something like that next time you're thinking of using that transition.
Yeah, that would be wise. Using is so obvious. Use the character. That would have been wise. Thank you. The edumacations from Nagaremi.
We're education, but we're not going to see him use Zeku at all. We're going with the Karin.
Huh.
See, you can set up everything you want in the world, but the player always has the last say.
What's the reverse of a commentator's curse? The player cursed me. Even if I had the perfect transition, it would have been problematic. Ooh, okay. Really, this is either incredibly slow and patient from Boomy, or there was a weird connection issue at the beginning there. But no, it looks like it was the former, playing very cautiously here, but managing to get that nice hit confirm. Nope, never mind. Irish whip straight to that P1 corner.
Yeah, making sure Mika has so much, especially against a character that doesn't have good anti-airs against the body splash. Mika loves that corner, loves to do anything. Now you can see Boomy trying to back up to a space where he's not at risk of getting thrown into the corner until it's his turn to go. But no, errant confirm there. It's going to get punished, but not by much. And we're back to this mid-screen situation.
Oh my god, I'm so surprised at Burmese willingness to just sit in place. Obviously, when people play footsies, you usually see that dance, right? That subtle back and forth, trying to walk in and out of ranges. Boomy's willingness to just let go of the stick and sit still.
Yeah, maybe sat still a little bit too much. That crouch fierce
Perhaps.
clip and allowing FireFist to get the rest of the combo pretty clean.
Yeah, maybe should start walking a little bit back and forth. But we'll have to see.
I mean, it's definitely one of the scariest things when you're either willing to walk very far forward in neutral or willing to just stay completely still. Nice block on the other side. Didn't get the full punish. Now trapped in the corner.
Ooh,
Yo,
okay, we bust out of those. That's a really important thing to represent against a mix heavy character like this. You need to give them that additional pause when they're like, all right, are you going to bring out the DP? Because that's the extra breathing room that affords you the ability to counter poke.
yeah, and the earlier the better to really put that in their mind. And a nice activation to the walk-up throw. They're going to tie it up around a piece here in game number 1. Oh my goodness, he walked so far forward and still whiffed his stand medium punch. And
Oh no, went for the triple light confirm, did FireFist, but didn't quite get it.
oh my goodness, another stand medium punch confirm. We in the corner now. Got the counter hit conversion as well. That's the stun. He won't have enough to kill. Needs one more reset, but Mika got plenty of those. What we see in this time. Command grab. Now regular grab. All right, keeping it safe. I like it, but we got the perfect, pissing it on the fence, showing him what's good with the yellow.
And that's tough for Boomy, right? Boomy died with full resources altogether. That's got to feel bad. You could have brought out another DP, really reinforced it. At a certain point, like, you have to evaluate the risk reward of going for a reversal in certain situations. But, like, that was the truest 50-50 that it could reasonably be. If FireFist did literally anything, your DP works. If FireFist waits and baits the DP, you lose. But you're already in a 50-50 situation. At a certain point, like, maybe it feels better to be the one deciding and dictating the 50-50 and setting up the pace. Speaking of setting up the pace, Boomy's setting up a slow pace right now. Perfectly content to just wait full screen.
Yeah, and Sabo was pretty much content to wait with it as well, but after the mic charge up, he wanted to get something going, and there's a command grab, finally got one. And now you can feel Boomy having to move forward a little bit more, trying to find these hits.
I really like how Sabo played this round, because one of the things is, if Boomy's going to play that kind of a style, Boomy needs to be, crucial counter pokes. This is going to be a really important position. Boomy needs to make it happen. I'll finish my point. We have some breathing room. Ooh, speaking of breathing room, finds the breathing room, does FireFist. But what I was going to say is, if you want to play that slow game, one of the most critical things is you need to have the life lead when you do it, and you need to be playing 5 when it's your turn and really mixing them. And FireFist got the life lead and then was content to play that anyway. It's like, all right, you can only play defensively for so long.
Yeah, especially. And it feels really weird to see, like, Mika the one that's controlling the pace, and you even see like Boomy's now the one that's feeling impatient and seeing Sabo just sit back, because so many times Sabo sat back and was able to find the hits and get the damage.
Yeah, it's almost like FireFist has proved that patience is just posturing. Like, oh, you're not really patient. If I play patient too, you're the one who's going to crack first.
Yeah, but right now Boomy's sitting on that life lead, but FireFist slowly inching forward, and he saw Boomy crack there and got anti-aired, and here's the activation. All right, nice V reversal just to escape the situation on quick and dash go. No conversion on the counter hit low forward.
If this is going to be your style, that's the kind of thing where you really need to get it happen. Speaking of making it happen, finds the trip guard command grab, but FireFist still has left life, and Boomy really doesn't even need to do that. Boomy has the life lead.
Yeah, but felt necessary to build that V trigger. He did get it, but hasn't gotten very much off of it, and FireFistSabo can still make this comeback. Got hit again on the elbow, but not plus enough, or maybe not paying enough attention to hit that confirm there.
Okay, finding the dash forward, gonna cash out with the 1 bar to take the round. Boomy with a round on the board here in the second game. FireFist is up 1. This is really interesting. You don't commonly see this style employed in 5, especially with a character like Karin. Her walk speed's so good, her tick throws and her shimmy so strong.
Yeah, and it's weird to see Sabo kind of respond in kind. Oh no, other side. He got a counter hit too. Maybe Boomy was trying to mash out and mess it up. That's going to be the critical art. I don't want to pull James Shin here, so I'm going to say that it's not going to kill. I was wrong.
Oof.
Sometimes you caught between two butts, and like I could say like, it's not going to kill, or I could say that it's going to kill. But I didn't want to be Karin in that situation and say, is it gonna kill, and pull the James Chin.
That was Schrodinger's CA to the T. You never know until you measure it in that moment. You don't know. And that was such an interesting match to watch. I think you pointed out like the interesting way in which Sabo was kind of meeting Boomy's patience. And on a weird, ironic flip side, so commonly that patience was when FireFist had the life lead already, and it's like, all right, you can't be the patient one and be the one losing. If you're going to be the patient one, you need to set up the life lead. It's something that we see. I talk about this a lot with Tanachi, where with Tanachi, you very commonly see, at least Tanachi has two kinds of play. So I'm talking about one of them. And Tanachi has a method of play where Tanachi plays his turn while it's his turn and then is completely willing to play full screen and be the lamest person in the world. And it works great when Tanachi is able to guess right when playing 5 and maintain the life lead, because at that point he's relying on his neutral to keep you from equalizing the game. The problem there ultimately was Boomy didn't have that. Boomy was not in control of the pace enough to be able to say, I'm going to stand here and make you come to me.
Yeah, and more so than just being able to stand there and make Sabo come to him, he also very frequently cracked first and went to Sabo even with the life lead. And that's something that comes down to you maybe feeling more comfortable in that kind of play style. And it's always a surprise in Street Fighter V when we see that style kind of come out. So it could just be something that he's not used to playing yet, and he's definitely still working on. So it'd be interesting to see how that evolves as he continues to try this style, this slower style.
Yeah, and the thing about that slower style is, in the slower style, it's a war of inches. And what we even saw was that Sabo was able to, in the slower style, inch their way out of the corner even. And it's like, if you're going to play that slower style, one of the things that you need to understand is giving up an inch is giving a mile. Like, sure, you have the whole screen behind you to back up once you're in the corner, but the goal is to make all of that as painful for your opponent as possible. And we didn't even necessarily see that. But it's a very difficult style to play, and it's extra difficult in this game where offense is so strong. And once you do get your set play and your offense started, it chains into itself so easily. And I'm definitely curious to see more of it. I think it's interesting that over the lifespan of this game, we have seen more and more people try to adopt that style. Ooh,
Yeah.
Marvisto rocking the Ryu tonight. I love Marvisto's Ryu.
I mean, I love seeing Ryu, and I love the new costume that he has as well. It looks super sick, even though I don't play Flexel and I haven't played any of the EX games or anything like that. It's just a super sick looking costume, the long hair and everything. And I think this matchup, it really can go either way. Both have really good movement speed. I think Sakura edges it out in terms of the movement, especially with the standing light kick buffer as well.
Oh, her standing light kick is so good. Obviously, Spaceboy's in the chat too, but Spaceboy is one of the people I think of with that buffer off that standing short counter poke. It's so strong.
Oh, big crush, and he got the dash confirmed. Going to push all the way to the corner now. What can Marvisto do? Just being patient here, finds his poke. Not much after, though. All right, out the corner at the very least, trying to maintain some of this ground control with these EX fireballs. Oh, the reaction.
Wow. You forget that that's a thing that even exists, because so infrequently do you see fireball and fireball matchups in this game that aren't like Akuma.
Yeah, absolutely. Like it's always Akuma and Guile most of the time here. Every once in a while, like there's Urien, but he's only like sort of a fireball character. A lot of his other kit kind of carries him. But now we're seeing a lot of fireballs out of Marvisto, and then just completely shutting them down for a little bit. Found a couple pokes, but still getting walked back to the corner.
A really strong position here from Shinku, but we saw Shinku had the life lead for a bit in that first round as well and managed to lose out on it. Trading EX for EX is okay, interesting. That anti-air fireball is very telling. Watching the sky is Shinku. Ooh,
oh my goodness.
Smart.
Yeah, the triple hit light confirming the crouch from where he was. Like has to go for the donkey kick. But again, like just playing this classic fireball DP game, waiting for Shinku to kind of overcommit on the ground as well. Is able to find these counter pokes in the corner too, just building the space for himself. Big damage there, and just needs one more touch. Going to find the safe activation.
And just backs off. And this is what I love from when Marvisto is playing Shotos. It's such a classic Shoto game plan, and it's not something we see super commonly in 5, but Marvisto makes it look so strong.
Yeah,
like,
and
you watch that, you don't believe that Ryu is not a high tier character. But it's in the decision making and the strength of the fundamentals in just understanding the game state and the way to play a strong fireball game.
Yeah, and that strong fireball game is exactly what we're seeing, mixing up, especially in V-Trigger 1, where he's mixing up between slight charge and no charge. That little mix-up is so hard to deal with, because you do the slight charge, they block it, and then you immediately let another one rip, and they can't jump. And again, another reaction to the charge with the medium Tatsu. Another great reaction from Marvisto, understanding his options here, while forcing Shinko to kind of go to this fireball game.
Even that sequence there of just backdash fireball, but Shinku finding some space here. Life barely even between the two of them. Ooh, goes for the parry, and Shinku does not extend past the dash, just content to take the dash as the advantage from that. No anti-air on the jump in too. If you're playing this kind of game, you need to have the anti-airs like Marvisto does.
Yeah, I mean, it's rough for Sakura. She doesn't have an air invincible option for it outside of EXDP, which already can just go under sometimes, so you got to be real careful about it. But Shinku trying to get something started for himself, but a V reversal from Marvisto just going to put a stop to it. He had time to DP.
I'm shook. I rolled so far back from my mic that my noise gate didn't pick up my exasperation at watching that. That was nuts.
Dude, I can't believe that Shinku couldn't block it. Like, it hit so late. I thought he landed.
It's like you were playing Guile. Marvisto makes Ryu look like Guile.
Oh, baited the fireball, got the anti-air because of it, and now Shinko just trapped in this corner. Look at this distance that he's choosing to stand at, knowing that Shinko wants to throw these fireballs and busting out with the light DP. Oh my goodness, Marvisto is feeling himself here, and he's gonna get the kill. No, drops the ender, just a DP away. But the cross cut, my guy, that is how solid a Ryu can play. We see a bunch of Ryus out here like double dashing into sweep or something, but that, how Marvisto just played, is how Ryu is supposed to be played.
You know why this costume is perfect for Marvisto? Because Marvisto is an ultra instinct Ryu.
Yo,
that's what we just witnessed. Like in that cross cut DP there, I heard the ultra instinct theme playing in my head. And Marvisto makes Ryu look that good. I want to give Shinku some credit for something, though. I really love Shinku's choice of buttons when falling from the neutral jumps against the fireballs to challenge forward movement, even when just neutral jumping a fireball, because Shinku understood that Marvisto was trying to cheat forward after fireballs to gain space with dashes sometimes. I like falling with what I believe was the standing strong. It worked out a couple of times, and I really like that that was something that was in their mind in playing the neutral there. It's just unfortunate that Marvisto is such a strong player and all of that legacy skill coming into play here.
It was literally, I think that was the best thing that Shinku did. Those falling jump medium punches were pretty good at kind of stopping that additional offense that Marvisto was trying to get and trying to steal. But at the end of the day, there just wasn't enough else there for Shinku. Like, everything else was entirely Marvisto's favor. The pace, the control, the reads and understanding of Shinku's mindset and like what's going to happen. It's like, okay, is he going to try to dash here, throw a fireball? Is he going to try to jump, anti-air, right? Like, Marvisto had every option covered for what Shinku was trying to do.
Yeah, so Marv gets to move on and play Adnan to get into the match between Marv and Adnan is to get top 16. Like, that's how stacked. We were talking about it before the stream started, but the bracket is looking ridiculous today. Damn, Prophet too? We go from Marv to Prophet?
Yeah, you want to talk about killers. Prophet has been looking on fire with the way that he has put his opponents on ice with this Gill. No,
I love
no laughs at the pun there.
I was thinking about Prophet's Gill and how, like, I'm kind of torn on the strength of Gill. I feel like there's a couple of Gill loyalists still out there putting in work, but I'm not sure if a couple of great Gill loyalists makes up for the character. He feels like the margin of error to make Gill work is so slim in this game. Just in this engine.
I mean, he's definitely like a go big, go home kind of character, right? There's just not much to go big with other than, you know, the combos, right? He doesn't get much from throwing or like most of his Oki or any of his mix-ups on like in V-Trigger 2.
Yeah, no, that's a good way to describe it. And like sometimes we see the VT1, the Fire VT, but I feel like the way I've kind of rationalized it is when you see VT1, it's because Gill doesn't anticipate that they need to make an all or nothing comeback. But when you see the ice, it's either, I mean, sometimes people just want to do that anyway, but The ice is your kind of all or nothing, like, I need to 100 to 0 you with VT and bar.
Yeah. And I mean, one thing that immediately stood out for me from this match was the instant stand medium punch that Comaris did against Prophet. That was the best thing that I've seen, but Prophet adjusted immediately, just controlled that mid-range space, close range space entirely, and was able to dominate the rest of the match after that.
Prophet is a strong ass player. We saw there were a couple of weeks there where we weren't able to see Prophet in the Casa, but coming back a couple of times now, I'm really glad to see him back because I love watching his Gill.
He's
able to play.
Yeah, he's definitely one of the premier players with this character. I think there's only a few of them that really focus this character. Like him and Taj are the best at kind of spearheading this character in terms of promoting and trying to get things going for it. But right now, Comaris is trying to put down everything. He's like, you want to promote Gill? I ain't gonna allow it. I'm gonna push you in this corner. But activation here from Prophet, got the counter hit, but too far to get the conversion.
Oh no! That's not what you want to see. Finds the backdash though. That's crucial. Uses the charge just to build some space on the screen. Only has one more activation, I would think though. Oh no, maybe two. Maybe I'm full of shit.
Yeah, sometimes they use it fast enough to get another one, especially if Prophet's just gonna lay it out. But nice jab check there on the Rekka. Prophet just aware of his options, knew that Comaris wanted to keep going, but a crush there, back to the other side, and you got the shimmy, but didn't believe. No, Comaris needs one more touch, but so does Prophet at this point. Has critical art on deck, and he can seal it and take this game number one.
Yeah, that falling jump fierce was very telling on the neutral jump because obviously a hit confirm off of that would have killed. Now at a range where these fireballs work, is that gonna work?
Oh, no,
it's too far away, but no punish.
Oh, Comaris, don't let this burn you.
10 seconds left, but the gray life is mounting. This is honestly anyone's game.
Oh! Looking like a Balrog player just doing a lariat in neutral, my guy.
Ah, damn, that was so much of that round was just Prophet racking up gray life off of fireballs and cashing it out on errant hits. There was only really one or two clean sequences from Prophet. Otherwise, that whole round was just strong neutral once he got the breathing room, and that little bit of health was all it really took. And that's kind of one of the things about this game, especially with a character like I alluded to, VT2 being a little all or nothing, and we didn't necessarily see that, but it's so easy to chain your offense together, and any amount of health, like the difference between 1 health and 0 health is huge.
Yeah, it really puts the fear factor into your opponent, like, oh my goodness, I have to close this out. Like your opponent feels that urgency when you're just like, okay, I can just kind of whittle this down a little bit, you know, find my opportunities, make them sweat. But right now, Comaris is the one making Prophet sweat here in this corner.
But we literally just watched this. We just watched Comaris with the life lead, and Comaris will overextend and get antsy. And that's the thing that I think about. There was 10 seconds left on the clock in that last game. Comaris had the life lead, and Comaris went in.
Yeah, and I mean, also opting not to spend any of the meter to get the punish on the critical art was what we're seeing, but we'll see how this goes. And he managed to not overextend himself too far there, right? He found the opportunity to get the big combo and followed up with the throw there, able to get a round on the board for himself finally. Right, and the ability to stay composed and and continue playing the match after losing a round where you had such a strong lead and you were able to like just lose it all. Comaris staying composed like this is actually pretty important here. Nice jump over the button, puts Prophet into this corner. Try to get a shimmy and not biting.
It's definitely always feels nice when they don't bite in the shimmy, so you just get away with walking in and getting the throw. It's like you had your cake and you ate it too.
All right, but a lot of plus frames on these fireballs. Comaris wasn't sure where to poke out and he got clipped up for it. Another one, my goodness, Prophet confirmed that hit as well. Look at this damage with all the ice. It's a fake setup, got tossed for it. Had to block the second one.
Comaris needs to make this all happen. Has all the resources that they need to in order to make it happen, though. You just need to find one clean activation. There's clean activation, finds the counter hit, but unfortunately you don't get a whole lot out of it. This is maybe one touch depending on the activation, but it's also one touch for Prophet with the crouch short.
Yeah, and it was one of those situations where Comaris should have saved that true string Rekka until he could confirm into super and kill. Because once he put the thought of like, oh, I can just do the true string, and he knew Prophet was going to try to mash, that was a big thing. But Prophet is just dominating here, giving no space to breathe. We saw the slow patient play, and that's not going to happen anymore. Prophet rushing down, nearly getting a perfect, looking super solid.
Yeah, that was super, super clean. And I have to agree with you with Comaris. At that point, when you look at the resources and you look at what you need to overcome, the risk reward is like you need to cash everything out on the one opportunity because you don't know that you'll get a second one. You don't necessarily want to bet it all on another mix up and potentially going back to neutral or a scramble and going for that true string there. It just, you get a little bit, but you're still in the same risk reward situation that you were in before it. So it didn't actually help you as much as you would have wanted it to.
Yeah, and that's definitely a big thing. You either need to, when you know, like in that situation, Prophet had shown 2 times that he's going to push down jab after the first set of Rekka, because if you're going for elbow, the jab will hit you out and you won't get your plus frames. He'll get to interrupt, get a counter hit, and continue. And Comaris knew that, and he chose to do that early, but not spin his critical art, which means that if he hit Prophet again, it's really a 50-50 on if Prophet's going to block in that situation after he got hit the first time, or if he's still going to challenge there. And that uncertainty is super important, which is what Prophet set up there the first few times that he jabbed it out. Comaris just needed to be a little bit more patient and whittling away the life a little bit more until he could get that one big hit into kill if you're going to look for that big hit, right?
Yeah, and it's obviously super difficult. It's very difficult in the moment when you're playing the game to be able to, like, we have that removed understanding of what's going on to be able to do that risk reward analysis, and the ability to do that as a player in the seat is super, super difficult. So
Yeah,
with
and
Prophet moving on, oh, sorry.
Yeah, you know what else is difficult? Winning NLBC. That's right. We're going to shout out Team Spooky here and everything that he's been doing. He's actually has the partnership with Red Bull right now, where they have a lot of money on the line for all of the NLBC tournaments. So that's Street Fighter V, Grand Blue, and Dragon Ball. So if you're interested in either 3 of those games, definitely, and you're on the East Coast, definitely enter those tournaments, throw your hat into the ring to win some of that big money. It's definitely a good time and good competition. And you want to talk about more good competition. We got more good competition coming in from Ronin Rumble. The big boys, Jeff the Hero, always bringing it big, started this huge thing, and now, you know, he kind of gets to sit back and chill a little bit, but there's definitely awesome commentators, awesome players that come in, both from the East Coast and the West Coast, and they always play out, you know, the coast to coast to see who's going to be the champion that week, so that's always super dope to watch. Almost as super dope as our Matcherino that you can donate to you know, help these players win a little bit extra money, you know, line their pockets a little bit more, which is always something that we're looking forward to give back to the community. And you want to talk about the community, you can always buy stuff at the Teespring that we have in order to, you know, buy some merch, rep our community here at Casa, you know, help us, you know, bring bigger and better things, and, you know, rep the squad. And you can also rep the squad by helping us on donating at Patreon. You can, of course, always donate there and get whatever. I'm not sure what the perks are on Patreon, but you can go there and you know, do that as well. If you want to rep a community, there's no better community to rep than RSF, our Street Fighter from Reddit. So I'm always a fan of those guys. I've commentated for them for a year on the East Coast, you know, a couple months on the West Coast now. Definitely a ton of fun. You know, definitely if you're on either of those coasts, check us out. But we're about to check out this match. We got BrianF versus iDrop. They're color matching as well. They're coordinated, yellow and blue on both sides.
Yo, I just want to point out that was like a 6-hit combo of segues there from Nogaremi. Let's see if any of the players are able to beat that combo counter. That's all we're going to worry about now. BrianF using that V-skill and V-trigger too from the boxer.
Yeah, V-skill 2 can be incredibly potent. It allows, you know, boxer to, you know, swing with that dash punch without charge and get plus range for it too, and get the good combo as well. Has corner control, so he's opting to try to go in here. He's getting these duffs on iDrop right now, not able to escape the corner. My guy. My guy.
But that range, every single time, that range, the knowledge there, that was such a, I almost want to even say, like, that was such a strong player read right out the gate. at that range, wait that long, dash straight will work. And it worked literally 100% of the time once iDrop was cornered.
Yeah, and he waited different amounts of time too. Like he waited to see until iDrop kind of looked impatient in his movement or like his jumps, and then he immediately found the point to dash punch and put him right back into his place.
Oh, nice
Right,
whiff
you can
punish there.
Yeah, as soon as iDrop looks ready for the dash straight, the dash lows there, but the side swap with the meter here, that's going to be a good situation for iDrop. Possibly, avoided the grip. All right, has corner control activation for himself. One touch from either will kill. Oh, the neutral jump. My goodness, iDrop going to tie it up real quick. Spinning the bar just to be sure.
Yeah, smart utilization of neutral jump is so critical in the Boxer matchup. Boxer obviously not the only character. Obviously, I feel like it should be represented more against like G and other characters like that as well. But being able to bring that out, that's exactly the type of situation and why you need to represent it. You can't play footsies around a tool that horizontal. Oh no!
Okay, but the second one going to the heaven going to work out for iDrop here, building himself some space here. Let's see how long BrianF is going to give him the space. All right, decent time. It was like 10 seconds. He got some space, and now iDrop locked in the corner again.
Oh no, went for the tick grab, but the first hit working and not getting it. Doesn't matter, backs off just enough, and the dash straight takes it in a fairly clean round for BrianF. And that was the 2 rounds that Brian won were very dominant. It was just strong mid-range play and a good read, a nice finger on the pulse of when iDrop was going to get antsy and try to extend and get out of that corner.
Yeah, and I feel like that's something you have to be very aware of when you're playing Boxer, right? The awareness of the option that your opponent's going to take to get out of the corner, whether it's going to be walking forward into a jump, a raw jump, a dash forward. Being ready for all of those approaches can be super important in terms of getting your pressure right with these dash straights, keeping them locked down in the corner.
Even like, I will give iDrop some credit. I like that in a range where iDrop is able to actually walk in behind his buttons and play a little bit more threatening. He's cheating more of that space. I think that's really smart because that mid-range to full screen game has absolutely not been working for him.
Yeah, so playing it a lot closer to the vest this time. He's able to get the stun and close out another round for himself here. Let's see if he can actually turn this into an entire game and stay alive here in this winner's bracket for a little bit longer.
Oh, okay. Even going for the challenge on the dash straight there with that standing short, the buttons that iDrop is choosing to hit on the ground here are much more deliberate choices around the dash punch. Okay, BrianF recognizing that walking forward after a poke is iDrop's choice, going for counter pokes of himself, pushing back to the corner now, and blocks. That's only one has worked. Do we see another one? No. We see a
Not
throw
this time,
tech.
the tech. Yeah, and a check on the dashboard there. Even though that it didn't punish it, it did at least give iDrop a little bit of a turn, but still locked down in this corner. BrianF mixing up between dash punching and just dashing in, but iDrop able to find the spot, see the code, get his space, but no. What was that? Just, was it an input error? Like heavy Mujinkaku, I can't imagine just coming out randomly. Maybe he went from down to back into heavy kick, trying to, look for his activation point a little bit too quick.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe it was supposed to be like a walk back roundhouse, but like there was a point of crouch guard in there in the middle there. Like it was just an unfortunate situation from what could have been a decent turnaround. Stuck in the corner once again, tries to cheat out. No, that's 2 wrong decisions. Luckily for you, I don't know that Brian has the resources to kill here in one
he
hit,
has
unless
the
I'm wrong.
resources.
Oh God, I didn't realize he had the V skill charge activated to cash out. I didn't see that he had it stocked.
Yeah, it's a Boxer does a grip of damage once he's, fully loaded. Whether he spends the entire super or 2 bars of it or just some combination of it, he can do a grip, and that's going to be 2-0 for BrianF to take it over. iDrop just looked entirely prepared for the Karin matchup and the options that iDrop wanted to do, like 90% of the time.
So that sets Brian up to top 16. Brian will play the winner of OGYawn and Tanachi.
Yeah, that's gonna be a wild match. That's not gonna be on stream, unfortunately. That sounds like it would be pretty hype. Instead, I believe we're gonna get AlexDotDot and ItachisLegacy, which would also be pretty hype. The winner of that match gets to fight Moon, who of course beat Moika's Law And then on the other side, we did see Marvisto beat AdnanNYC, and then Shadow Ace beating the Notorious 7.
Yeah,
So
and then
top 16 is
we've got so much still to go, and then Profit versus Akuma to get into top 16 to play the winner of Diego versus Sabo. There's a lot of, I mean, I keep looking at this bracket and it's like, damn, that's a killer. Damn, that's a killer. This is a particularly hard bracket for the Casa tonight, I think.
Dude, you want to talk about it? Fluxwavez is in losers. My guy,
I didn't even
know Fluxwavez
realize.
was in.
Exactly. You look, Fluxwavez is only second seed and is down in losers. What kind of messed up stuff? Fluxwavez was the first, and if I am not mistaken, is still the only 3-time Casa winner in Street Fighter V.
You want to talk about how strong that player is. We saw Fluxwavez at Digital Havoc last night, and he took the entire tournament clean. He didn't drop a single game against any of his competitors. So that man knows how to play Street Fighter. He's already in losers bracket, if that wants to tell you how stacked this bracket is looking tonight.
Yeah, and who did he lose to? Fluxwavez lost to Mokislaw.
Yeah.
Or Moik. Okay. I am not familiar with that player, but based on that, I feel like I should be. And I imagine that I'm going to end up familiar with him tonight.
I'm pretty sure he plays Akuma. It's been a couple years since I've seen him actually in action. He used to be a fairly regular competitor at RSF East Coast on Mondays, but I haven't seen him in a while. Pretty sure he's Akuma. I used to think he was a Geef player, but every time I saw him after that, he played Akuma. So I don't know. I get mixed. Just like how we're going to see one of these players get mixed. We got Blanka on one side. We got Ibuki on the other. Both these characters have some nice schmicks of their own, right? With the hops from Blanka can be really hard to tell. Or with V-Trigger 2, of course, he can also mix you up without even needing his V-skill. And Ibuki, my guy, the Shuriken, the Kunais, who knows where she's going to be.
Okay, already manages to whiff punish the slide, but not as fully as we might have wanted.
Oh, too far for the punish? Oh my goodness. Yeah, these guys are just swinging back and forth here. Of course, AlexDotDot swinging a little bit more liberally right now than Itachi.
I mean, if nothing else, when you use the V skill like that, you're still getting some V gauge, but the commitment on the DPs here from ItachisLegacy so far, none have worked out. Finds the up back out, and I like that. Very smart to cheat out of the corner.
Oh, but cheated right back in just to get the mix up. One more for the stun, and he blocked the up ball. That's going to be the stun. That's going to be a ton of damage. He gets the meter build too. Oh my goodness.
Super smart, really strong start there from ItachisLegacy. Once a sequence was able to start, obviously the beginning of that round was kind of loose and errant. We're going to have to see if either of these players start to play a little bit more tightly as they figure out the pace that the other wants to play at.
Yeah, right now it looked like Itachi had kind of figured out the pace. Try to punish the EX Rainbow Ball if it stayed in front. And now we're starting to see the adaptation. These DPs hit. Look at the range on these.
Yeah, I really like that. It's showing, like, bringing that out already as the willingness. At a certain point, what Alex is going to need to do is, I don't even know if in the character matchup, whether you can bait it at these ranges. I've seen Alex do it before, where when his opponent was very DP heavy, Alex started doing moves specifically to bait the DP and then punish. But based on the horizontal range of Ibuki's DP and how effectively ItachisLegacy is walking forward and ensuring that he stays in range of Alex, Alex doesn't have a full screen to try to rainbow ball like short and bait it and then punish, because even the short one is still in range for ItachisLegacy to punish.
Yeah, exactly. And that's pretty much it. And of course, even if ItachisLegacy is wrong, Ibuki's regular DPs aren't invincible at all. They have really good hitboxes and hurt boxes, but they're not invincible and they're not crush counterable until, Itachi starts spinning the meter on it, spinning the butter. So there's a lot less risk inherently than, if you're a character like Ryu, where like if your DP gets baited, you can eat 40% life. So ItachisLegacy has the liberty to be really liberal with the usage of this and in testing if AlexDotDot has the adaptation to go for this. And we saw the revert back into character select, AlexDotDot wanting a little bit more time to think about this. I'm not sure if he has a secondary character that he wants to go with. I've always seen him play Blanka since Blanka's come out.
Yeah, I've not seen any other character represented, but I think especially when a performance has gone like that, nope, just going for the color switch. I think going back and taking that extra second to decompress is always a wise decision. I bring it up every now and again, but a couple of years back in the wake of the Scant versus PROG and Vanilla Marvel 3 Grand Finals at EVO, somebody went back and did a study of like when you go back to character select, the statistics around winning the rest of the set. And going back to character select and waiting on average of 10 to 15 seconds was statistically, you are more likely to win than if you just
Yeah.
hop right back in.
Shout outs to the game 2K, always bringing the stats on that kind of stuff. He's also the reason why we play winners finals, losers finals, loser semis, losers finals, right? In that order to give the winners, the loser of the winners final a little bit of a break. Also, the three out of five as well is a big part of him as well, providing the stats. So, but you want to look at the stats. ItachisLegacy has the stat called the life lead right now, looking pretty solid, but getting a little bit antsy there on offense, wanting to close this out. But that allowed AlexDotDot to find his momentum here up to the top of the screen.
Oh no, doesn't get the hit confirm, unfortunately, and patiently waiting after the V-trigger ball.
Oh, he got the punish!
And
Oh,
that's one of the things I was wondering about that at character select was whether she could throw kunai after a blocked Blanka ball and have it work out in her favor. Turns out the answer is yes.
Yeah, my goodness. And it was too far to get the full conversion from the V trigger, but I was at least able to reset the situation and, you know, take that round. Getting pushed to the corner early here, but again, bringing out those DPs again, looking super strong, and bringing out a secondary option too. AlexDotDot trying to, you know, V-scale into backdash in order to bait out the DPs, but still can't get a punish on them, it seems.
I think like it's problematic if you bait it and don't get a punish, you're not really baiting it at all because ItachisLegacy is not going to be disincentivized to do it whatsoever. And with
Yeah,
the
and the
scaling what
stun
it is,
there.
I'm not sure if this is going to kill. No, you get one more guess. Does Alex?
No, he finds the sweep, but again, he still has to find the hit here. He baited the DP. This can be big here. Now, won't have enough to stun, but needs one more touch. Choosing to
There
save
is
the
no
V-trigger.
meter. Yeah, there is no meter here for a DP. Delay rise from ItachisLegacy gets around the anti-air.
It was -4, but he didn't challenge it. Oh my goodness, and he gets the dash through ItachisLegacy, gonna take it, but I can't believe on that activation there that that AlexDotDot didn't challenge the -4 activation. Like the activation's -4 if it's that close. Like you can interrupt it, take your turn. And I know you're scared, like, oh, that shuriken can come back and bite me, but there was so little life on ItachisLegacy side that you just have to go for it and to take the victory if you can get it right. Just do jab into critical art if you have to, if that's what it
Right.
requires.
Or even, I think VT was still activated, like jab into DP into the V-trigger follow-ups. You're so high up on the screen, the shuriken isn't going to come back and hit you. You 100% in that situation, it could have been your round. And that's an unfortunate pull there for Alex. But perhaps that's a piece of character knowledge. Like in that moment, you're so scared, like you alluded to, that maybe you don't even think to challenge because you're just like, if I do something wrong, I'm going to get clipped and I'm going to die. And maybe the takeaway from that round is taking that character knowledge and ensuring that you'll execute upon it.
Yeah, that's definitely, it felt like you know, AlexDotDot had a couple of things to really work on there in that matchup to, you know, he had things that he needed to find an answer for, right? Punishing the V trigger that close, finding an answer for those DPs, right? He didn't quite have a clear one here, but we're gonna get ItachisLegacy back in here to go up against Mooons, who again, Mooons kind of got it started. I mean, he is a Long Island representative, but he definitely traveled a lot to NLBC. So we're gonna shout out NLBC again here because you know I see the little placards going across on stream. So I'm trying to give all these people their shout outs. Of course, you know, Royal Rumble, of course, is always bringing the heat. RSF is always bringing the heat as well. You can always support all of our lovely competitors, you know, either through the match arena or donating on Patreon so that we have a, you know, a little bit more money, a little bit more flexibility to give the players a little bit of something. All right.
Yeah, I'm meaning to. I'm gonna double check the Matcherino so I know what it's at. Wow, what the hell happened? Am I crazy or is the Matcherino currently sitting at $320?
It is currently sitting at 320 alts. You know, sometimes when your segues are so smooth, people just gotta donate, okay?
Oh, Magnegro showing the love with another $100 contribution. Magnegro keeps coming through. Rotary Lover with the $50. Here to support BrianF, says the comment.
I think BrianF maybe said something. He has another person that came in donating 50 with good luck to BrianF. And Mooons right now showing a lot of answers here for Itachi's approaches and just getting some good pressure started here. Gets crushed, throwing too many fireballs. But again, just backing up, trying to control the space where, you know, Mooons can react with those V skills in order to get some damage. Nice conversion on the counter. Has corner control again. How is Itachi going to try to bust out here?
Okay, finds the V-skill activation. Oh no, a little too far away to get the follow-up, and you have effectively wasted your V-trigger. That's a bad look here for ItachisLegacy.
Especially when Mooons now has his V-trigger. This can be really big if Mooons is able to find the right situations for himself where he can start going the command grabs and the rocks, really getting these mix-ups. But playing it really slow here, not really pushing a lot of his buttons in neutral, just, you know, waiting out, dashes up, that finds... Finally, you know, ItachisLegacy sitting a little too still, grips him up for, you know, a ton of damage, breaks the back with the pipe, looking strong.
Yeah, that was tough. I think that V-trigger activation is so problematic. Ibuki gets so much mileage out of ensuring that she cashes out a bunch of damage for that. And even with the dominant screen position, the life deficit is so difficult to overcome if you don't have it. Her regular set play outside of V-trigger is not what it used to be. Oh, a deep jump in is a good strong start though.
Yeah, not able to follow up much after it. Moon's just doing a really good job of playing a strong defensive game here. Gets gripped up though a couple of times. Maybe this is the hole that ItachisLegacy needed to find. Caught him flinching there on the command dash 4 and was able to close out the second round. Really saw at the end of that first round that, you know, kind of being a little bit sporadic and random on offense was working for him. You know, was able to whittle down some good life from Mooons. And really just went whole ham on that kind of strategy in round number 2 and was able to close it out.
Yeah, representing the throw did a whole lot for him. Doesn't have the answer for that neutral jump there. I wonder if that was a range or a DP would have worked. Surrendering a lot of space here. Oh, just out of range for the slide. No punish though.
Oh my goodness, that kick hit so high up. I thought Itachi had jumped over, but able to build some space out the corner, especially with this crush counter, going to get some good damage here as well. Missed the activation, it looked like. Wanted the V skill into activation, but Moon's going to be the first to activate.
The rock meaty. Okay, just cashes out. The neutral jump doesn't come down with a button, gets thrown for his trouble. ItachisLegacy is going to be able to cash out into the shuriken here. Has one bar available. What's the mix-up going to be? Same side.
Yeah, and one more. No, he blocks the CN mix-up. Gonna spend it all here. I don't think it's gonna be enough. He needs one more touch. But command grab or button, neither. Just gonna block it out. My guy Mooons was in his mind, in his brain.
This is one of the things I feel like I've talked about this with ItachisLegacy before, but I feel like ItachisLegacy goes for the kunai release in the air as a huge gamble really commonly when he doesn't need to. He'll do it as like a high risk, high reward option to beat a throw, or he'll do it like aggressively to beat certain meaty situations. And I feel like I've seen it not work out more often than I have. And that's a great example of a situation where it doesn't. It was not completely lost for him when he did that. But the second it was blocked, even if you don't get a big punish, now you have no kunai. Your plus frames on block and your like flip tech resets are gone because you don't have the kunai. You're surrendering at least one hit in neutral because you need a charge.
Yeah, and you probably crossed up and put yourself in a corner. That's all I'm saying. But Moons right now is able to really play this neutral game, stacking up this gray life, and it finally got taken away there by Itachi. Oh, gets out of the corner. Now the situation's in his favor, can find his point to activate V-trigger, but Itachi finds his activation first. Whew. That was a good mix. Unfortunately, that the shuriken didn't hit on the other side like he wanted it to.
Really stuck in the corner here as ItachisLegacy finds the jump, but oh, that V-skill hit so late. I'm not even sure. I can't rightly tell if that qualified as an anti-error if it hit ItachisLegacy as he landed.
Yeah, I'm not sure if it was a trip guard or an actual hit. It looked a little bit weird, like ItachisLegacy maybe tried to walk forward and maybe like try to go for like a throw hit mix up, but it was just there with the V skill already.
Frame once again.
All right, now we're kind of seeing a little bit of a switch where we haven't really seen Mooons be this aggressive at the beginning of rounds, but he's really been swinging here, and ItachisLegacy's been the one that's just been, you know, walking around, you know, walking back a whole lot.
Yeah, catching out a lot of this EX bar into EX Zonk to keep stuff going. Even burning the V reversal there just to, you know, punish the V skill and ensure you keep some strong position in the corner.
Oh my goodness, Itachi flinching, maybe trying to jump out of the corner there with the EX Zonk, keeping the pressure strong here, but finds the point to interrupt. Still, Itachi can't get out of this corner.
And that low forward on hit, I have to wonder if you would have been better off activating in that situation. You definitely could have got a cross under and stayed in the
out
corner.
the corner,
nice
but not
jab.
gonna do. Yeah, it was just rough to look there. Like ItachisLegacy's like, all right, I found my opportunity. I get to jump out of the corner, and then you see the jab come out and start hitting you as you're landing, and you're like, oh,
Yeah,
it's over.
Yeah, that was really tough for ItachisLegacy, but still gonna have another chance. Still drops down to the losers bracket, and that sets up Mooons as the first player in our top 8. Diego did beat Sabo off stream, so Diego still plays the winner of Prophet and Shin Akuma, the winner of whom will play Mooons. So I hope Mooons is ready to play one of those 3. And we've still got plenty of other stuff happening. I have not even looked down into the losers bracket. Fluxwavez versus iDrop had to play in losers round 3. We didn't even get to watch it. Fluxwavez takes it 2-1 over iDrop, so still in the tournament. There's still so much going on.
Yeah, like you want to talk about Moika's Law beat Drayomi 2-0 in losers as well. Kaki beat Jocks in a box, and he has to fight AlexDotDot now.
Yeah,
Hold the Salt
Adnan's
beat
still
Notorious.
in.
Adnan and
Adnan,
Jupiter playing.
Yeah, the winner of whom plays Hold the Salt and then plays ItachisLegacy to still get into the top 8. So ItachisLegacy still only one step removed from the top 8. We're gonna have to see whether he's able to clinch that stuff out. I feel like every time I see ItachisLegacy, I always end up mentioning I mean, it always sucks to watch an Ibuki not able to fully capitalize on the Shuriken, but the number of times that I've seen ItachisLegacy burned on the air kunai release, it's just really unfortunate. And it's one of those things where, like, when it works right and you've gone in on that read and it works, you look like an absolute genius. But it feels real bad when you're wrong. It's like when you churn DP on Wake Up a whole lot. Like, sometimes you're right and you feel like a god, and sometimes you're not. And you really should take that second to evaluate yourself.
Yeah, absolutely. And the kunai release like that, the air kunai release was always like a strong mix up in like season 2 and season 3. I feel like in season 4 and extended into this weird middle state where we're not quite in season 5 yet, it's just given people so much time to really start understanding their options there and what they can do or what way they need to block in order to really block that situation, right? And reacting to the actual kunai release and not just to the, oh, Ibuki's above my head, she's gonna cross up kind of thing.
It's definitely super tough, but I mean, he still has another chance to make it all happen down there in the losers bracket. We are waiting to set up our next match, which I assume is going to be another top 16. But while we have a second, shout outs once again to the Matcherino and all of you guys that have been coming forward to do it. I alluded to it a little bit beforehand, but 320 and change in the Matcherino right now. Blown away. Thank all of you for showing that love and support. There is the coupon code still, which you can see in the chat. It is Casa SFV 21 to throw that free 50 cents. And I know a fair few of you have been throwing in your own direct contributions. Thank you so much. That money does go to the players. And I'm pumped that we, have a position where we're able to provide some sort of a meaningful prize pool for the players to be competing for. There is also the Patreon, which you can contribute to if you want to contribute directly to the Casa team and what we have been doing. There is a Teespring if you want to buy some Casa themed merch. That also makes its way to us. And then obviously all of the advertising partners, the Ronin Rumbles, the NLBCs, the R Street Fighters. We are not the only ones putting in the work here. in the quarantine times. Long ago, we could go to local venues and buy a sandwich and a drink and sit down next to human beings, but that is the long ago. Today, it's all of us holding it down on the net play to make sure that y'all are still keeping your skills sharp. And some of you are keeping your skills sharp, and it's a joy to see. And everybody else that's putting in the work to continue showcasing that. Thanks to everyone that's, you know, continuing to TO and put in all that work.
Yeah, definitely, you know, an awesome all of these tournaments that we sponsor here, whether it's NLBC with Team Spooky, Ronin Rumble, RSF, all of those, like Ronin Rumble and RSF have been fully online pretty much since their inception, and they do an excellent job of running and taking care of their players and making sure that their needs are met in terms of that. Then NLBC, the transition that Spooky has gone through in order to turn his top tier offline local into a top tier online local has been crazy, right? And him working with Red Bull now to bring that big money in for him and his crew and all of his players is super awesome to hear about, and super awesome to see that, you know, he's kind of reached another level here where he can, you know, provide even more for his community. So I know that, you know, he's always looking for ways to not only better like his equipment and, you know, his staff and you know, the way that he's able to live, but also looking to better the community around him as well.
Yeah, so it looks like we do know what our next match on stream is going to be, and it is going to be BrianF versus OGYawn. I am very excited to see this one. This is going to be a really interesting match. Both players obviously very talented.
Yeah, and oh my goodness, like I was surprised to see OGYawn take it over Tanachi. I really thought Tanachi had, you know, I think stylistically wise, had the upper hand there with Bison in order to take it. But I mean, if OGYawn's still rocking that Laura, it's definitely crazy. But yo, big shout out to Capcom Fighters coming in with the big raid. Thank you all so much. Oh my goodness, that's a lot of people.
That is a lot of people. What the hell? Thanks all of you for watching. We are Casa. We are here every Friday, and y'all are tuning in at a good time. It is going to be BrianF versus OGYawn. We were just talking about OGYawn, and you were talking about OGYawn versus Tanachi. And one of the things is, obviously, if OGYawn is repping that Laura, that's a super tumultuous matchup. And Tanachi kind of has two methods of play. Tanachi has his super wild method of play, where you kind of can't get a read on him at all, or he has the more laid back, I'm going to take my turn while it's my turn, and then back way off and just trust in my neutral. But I think one of the things that's difficult against Laura is if she's able to get in, she can play that chaining plus frames and chaining mix-ups far better than Bison. And Bison is going to have a difficulty trying to get the life lead and then play that style against her. Now, obviously, if Tanachi's the other form of Tanachi, where he's wild Tanachi this week, then who knows what the hell happened. None of us will ever get to see. That matchup lives on only in Tanachi and OGYawn's memories or local replays.
Yeah, absolutely. And if you want to talk about tough matchups, at least previous to the last couple of seasons, it was definitely this one that we're trying to see right here. BrianF with Boxer versus Laura Pooty Sweat with aka OGYawn with that Laura. It used to be super rough for Boxer to try to deal with, you know, the thunderclaps and the pressure that Laura was trying to apply. But so far, I think BrianF has really been paying attention and not only grinding a lot to practice, or not only grinding a lot in order to beat IDOM, but just the Laura matchup in general. He's really become a true technician and performer in it, where, you know, I believe he still thinks V-Skill 2 is a good answer here, where you get that enhanced ability to walk around the screen a little bit more without having to.
I really don't want to interrupt you, but I feel like this is important context before this starts. But if I'm not mistaken, OGYawn versus BrianF is the matchup that a week or two ago, BrianF tweeted something about, if I'm not mistaken, it's OGYawn, and Bunch added both of them to be like, y'all should play in the Casa and get the run back. And I don't think it happened last week. So there's perhaps a little bit of, Spaceboy saying NLBC 2 weeks ago. Yeah. So there is context for this matchup in particular, BrianF was salty for losing to OGYawn. And now, 2 weeks later, we actually get to see the run back that was promised.
Yeah, and right now, I mean, it's not looking so good for BrianF. He's put some damage on the board, but OGYawn's just been looking sick, locking down this corner, not letting BrianF really get any good damage offense. It's a check here or there, but really has just been this oppressive fireball game that's just locking BrianF down, not able to really build any additional space for himself. So that round number one. Go ahead.
I was going to say he's going to have to see if he's able to find some sort of adjustment to perhaps control the pace of the matchup a little bit better. It's just pace goes so far in Laura's favor. If she gets an inch, she takes a mile. A little too far away for that counter hit confirm. Cheating out, cheating back in. A nice counter poke from Brian and cashing out that V-skill charge.
Yeah, trying to get something on deck to give him a little bit more opportunity to push out of this corner. So he's giving up his Oki just to get this pressure, but maybe a little bit too aggressive sometimes in giving up. Like he's trying to give up his pressure, but also still take his turn, you know, after OGYawn tries to approach, and it's not quite working out for him. But this hit and run style here with these dash punches was doing well.
And we don't see the V-trigger activation there on hit. I kind of like the hit confirm, instead using the V-trigger activation on block to set up some set play afterwards. Going in behind that EX fireball. Oh, yeah, the hit confirm.
Yeah, it was great patience out of BrianF, but eventually, you know, you make a guess for your life, and that guess was wrong there for BrianF. Game number one going to OGYawn. So it ain't looking good. BrianF wanted this run back, but OGYawn bringing the heat, bringing the lightning, shocking the competition.
So what is the adjustment here that BrianF needs to make? That second round, it looked like he was controlling the pace a little bit, but it's just the second OGYawn gets any room. The hit confirms are so on point. Going from the target combos, picking the V-trigger activation super intelligently. It's just, you really, it's almost like you need to make no mistakes. It's like the meme against Laura's, right? Like, it's like, you need to, just don't lose neutral.
Yeah, and a big part of that is, you know, dealing with these fireballs and not letting OGYawn get started with any of them, as you're seeing here. BrianF just entirely dominating here, right? Just really spacing himself well, able to dash punch, you know, the approaches that OGYawn's trying to take in order to set up this thunderclap pressure. But there we go, the activation, dodged it, and got the punish on the grip.
That trade works out. One thing I wonder on the fireballs, obviously Brian won that with VS2, but I wonder whether VS1 ends up, if you lose, do you consider VS1 in a future matchup as an anti-fireball tool?
I mean, Laura's thunderclaps are so slow that it's really not worth it, right? He's trying to get these trades with the upper on the fireballs, and it hasn't quite been working out. So he needs a little bit more. Finds the backdash and the punish there on the command grab. You choosing to charge up again, but no.
Stand Fierce, no, goes for V-skill. We've seen BrianF backdash a couple of times now. I'm waiting for the counter hit Stand Fierce out of OGYawn.
Oh my goodness, but nice counter poke there, getting another charge up. Let's see what OGYawn has. He's trying to take some space here without risking anything. A couple of walk forwards, a couple of dashes. But BrianF just pushing right back to the corner. The counter poke into activation. Here we go. Big damage. Not enough to kill one more mix.
Oh, and then we do see the counter poke doesn't go for the command grab because he's already seen BrianF is scared of the command grab, going for that counter poke stand jab instead, cashing out. And now set point here for OGYawn. And this is just to get into the top 8.
Yeah, absolutely. There's still a ton more left to go. Gets the reset on the medium shoulder. He didn't go for an ender. Oh my goodness, OGYawn starting to feel himself. Another grip. He's shocking BrianF with this. Okay, V reversal slowing it down. Let's see what else BrianF can do, has in the tank. Again, these fireballs, he's just not dealing with them properly here in this neutral and being a little bit too aggressive with these uppers that just aren't working for him.
Yeah, I have to wonder what the read is on those uppers. Is it trying to challenge the startup of a fireball in certain ranges? I just don't rightly understand, and they keep being whiff punished. OGYawn has a finger on the pulse of those.
Yeah, he definitely had his pulse on that command grab. He got the backdash and was able to get the punish as well. And that's going to be a very rapid 2-0 there for OGYawn. Had a little bit of trouble at the start of game 2, but Brian just crumpled at any opposition there that OGYawn was able to show him.
You know, and OGYawn with the 2-frame conversion straight to the chat. Who the F is BrianF? The match didn't even fully load out, and the trash chalk was in the chat hella ready. If you're Brian, you gotta know, still has a chance down in that losers bracket to still get the run back. OGYawn moves on to play Marvisto in, again, just the top 8 of this week's Casa. Thanks all of you who were tuning in. Thanks again, Capcom Fighters, for that raid. I know some of y'all stuck around. Thanks so much once again. We are the Casa. We are here every Friday, and we are not even in the top 8. We still have Profit versus DiegoV is the final match just to get into winner's side top 8.
Yeah, there's definitely a ton of great players here. And, you know, for all of these great players, you know, throw some love into that match arena. You can use the code Casa SF521 in order to add 50 cents to the prize pool just to give the players a little bit more love here. You know, give them a little bit something extra to play for with all of these great competitors that we're seeing tonight. We have Fluxwavez, we have BrianF, we have Shadow Ace, Moika's Law. We've had Profit in here, Profits and losers, Fluxwaves and losers. We got OGYawn and Marvisto, you know, as one side of our winners top 8. Mooons as the other side of winners top 8. DiegoV's in here. AdnanNYC's in here.
Shadow Ace and AlexDotDot playing in losers to get into losers side top 8.
Yeah, and we have, you know, Shin Akuma and Metro M in losers bracket trying to play it out to see who's even gets to stay in the tournament. There's so many good competitors that came out to play tonight, and we're really are still showing that they have what it takes to compete. So you definitely want to tune in, definitely want to give these players the money and recognition that they deserve, especially the players like AlexDotDot and Shadow Ace here. You know, Blanka and Ed, both specialists in their own right here. AlexDotDot I don't know as much about, but I know Shadow Ace is always entering the round robin tournaments at RSF. Competing very well there, has won, you know, a good number, has a good number under his belt. He also helps run those tournaments as well, so it's definitely good to see the double duty being pulled, and Shadow is loving those tournaments enough to try to, you know, get more people to join.
Yeah, so I wonder, we obviously saw the last match that Alex played on stream was against ItachisLegacy, and we saw that a big part of that matchup was the use of Ibuki's DP, either on startup, like to punish it coming in, or to punish the recovery of Blanka's Rainbow Ball and Blanka Ball. How well do Ed's tools work to punish either a blocked Rainbow or Blanka Ball, or to punish the activation of it? Obviously, you have a 2-button DP if you want to hella commit, if you think it's going to be aggressive, but are we going to see the utilization of the tools in such a way that is going to dissuade Alex from playing that very ball heavy style of neutral that we sometimes see from Blanka?
Yeah, it'll be tough to tell. I think the main tell would be like that light Blanka Ball on block. What can Ed do about it? I think all of his options are just a little bit too slow or don't go far enough to really have a solid answer for that. But we'll see what Shadow Ace can do in this neutral game in order to compete. The trade there with the charge fierce, like letting it go as soon as he sees the Blanka Ball, can be, you know, at least a decent trade to, you know, keep AlexDotDot from abusing that option.
All right. Okay, dashing forward. I mean, even if nothing else, the presence of mind to dash forward is good, because if you get absolutely nothing else, stealing screen real estate is already important. And just like that, after 3 blocked Blanka Balls, Shadow Ace had AlexDotDot cornered.
Yeah, but just letting him jump in here with no anti-air, getting 2 throws back to back, that's going to be pretty good damage here. You know, Shadow Ace now, you know, at 40% life, has to make something happen. Getting 2 throws of his own, try to catch him walking back, was a little bit too far out of range. But gonna set up the trap here.
Trap? Yep.
It definitely looked like it, but you know, AlexDotDot navigated it carefully.
Welcome.
All right, playing comparatively slow now. Alex is about to get V-trigger for himself. There it is. So I anticipate we're gonna see it very shortly. Shadow Ace has tons of resources here to cash out some big damage on a big whiff punish. No activation. You use the V-trigger in that context to try and anti-air.
Yo, he EXDP'd on Alex's dot wake up, which was sick. He beat out a throw, but got clipped there with the one. AlexDotDot not spending anything else, just keeping it on deck.
Oh, it hit so late.
Yo, and a big shout out to Michael Dink gifting the 10 tier 1s as we get into round number 2 here. Again, we saw Shadow Ace have a couple of mistakes there where he just wasn't able to get the pressure that he really needed in order to close out that round, giving up some opportunities trying to reset pressure, but AlexDotDot's just blocking it out, or, you know, using that delay tech in order to, you know, escape some of these situations.
And that was unfortunate there too, off the blocked Rainbow Ball on like recovery, wasn't able to get that towards strong. And this is kind of one of the things that I was alluding to is we're seeing, you know, there's a good fundamental sense of how to play in the neutral after those blocks, cheating space, but not getting a whole lot out of it outside of screen real estate, which ShadowAce is perfectly content to backdash and give up.
All right, but slide into activation here is going to work out a little bit here for AlexDotDot. Got one mix, has another one to go. That's safe, and he didn't catch ShadowAce with the fake. Kept himself safe with the rest of his V trigger. Just needs one more touch after that throw.
Oh, the V trigger activation there, super smart, just to ensure that the stun goes down. Something like you're going to end up living through like a crouching short or something. Oh, the counter poke on the dash forward. AlexDotDot taking the first game over ShadowAce.
Yeah, really doing an excellent job of kind of containing ShadowAce in these situations, not letting him, you know, get extra damage on any time that he tries to steal the turn, as well as doing a great job of avoiding that V-trigger activation at the end that, you know, ShadowAce was trying to pressure with. You know, just use that heavy rainbow ball to get over it, got to the other side, didn't have to deal with any mix there, didn't have to block it. Is now going to go up and, you know, have a good situation for himself as he attempts to make it into top 8 losers here.
Yeah, and I have to wonder, what is the adjustment that ShadowAce needs to make? I think one of the big things is getting these dash forwards after the blocked balls is good, but we're seeing the way that ShadowAce is approaching the ground game, very willing to cede this ground, and it's kind of problematic. And obviously, AlexDotDot is able to get out of the corner when he does end up cornered, and ShadowAce doesn't surrender. Or cornering yourself even there is ShadowAce.
Yeah, just looking for that mix to get that hit that has eluded him so much. Like, he gets a couple counters here and there, but he just not capitalizing off of them. I know Ed has some difficult, you know, one hit confirms that he needs to go for. But, you know, we're going to see the V-trigger activation here, getting the double dash to kind of extend this combo and get the pressure again. But the buzz out. Oh, does he get the
double? He still lands on it. What the hell was that?
Yo, the setup, like he knew. He kept himself safe. My God. Shadow is showing now that he has a little bit of something left here, that we haven't seen everything that he has to offer.
Yo, he wholesale hit DP on a left-right corpse hop. The amount of belief. Speaking of belief, Alex believing in the DP.
Yeah, he's letting it rip, but he has to deal with this mix again, and he's going to build enough meter here on this knockdown to make the guess again. On this time, ShadowAce just stayed patient, but got clipped by the rainbow ball. That's going to be a good knockdown here.
Oh, that's unfortunate. Spends the bar to DP out to ShadowAce. Oh no, overcommits on the crouching strong.
Okay, and just staying a little bit too patient here after these V-trigger and got tossed up 2 times. You can't let your opponent dash up on you like that. 9 times out of 10, they're not plus, right? So you gotta check them.
It's almost as though, like, I feel like when ShadowAce is hitting buttons, he's hitting buttons in all the wrong contexts. Like, instead of checking dashes, he's overcommitting to his own pokes or committing on DPs, cashing out with the bar, getting a nice strong life advantage here in this third round. AlexDotDot is at set point going to be able to move on to the losers top 8 if he's able to clean this out. So cashing out, super smart.
Yeah, but AlexDotDot was prepared on the Oki situation, checked the dash forward, as well as able to really reset this neutral space that hasn't quite been in ShadowAce's favor. Got the shimmy bait with the backdash there, so, you know, ShadowAce getting a little bit something for himself. Another activation here, and we're just out of there instantly.
And it's so tough. We keep seeing it. There is no disincentive for Alex to not do these balls on block.
Yeah, I caught him
just
low.
A dash, like a dash forward into nothing is not scary. The V reversal, oh no, doesn't get the follow up.
Yeah, but the
tournament life rests on this.
Yeah, the big crush, they're going to be able to win it for AlexDotDot. Moving forward to loser side top 8. Congratulations to him, ShadowAce. You know, maybe we got to see you next time. I feel like it's super common when, you know, a player's on that winner side top 16 and then they just lose two straight sets. It can always be rough on your psyche to kind of go through that. But definitely a good showing from ShadowAce. He'll definitely enter again. I know that he'll be there on the round robin for RSF on Monday, so definitely keep your eyes out for that, Ed. He's definitely a killer and definitely has a lot of good potential going for him.
Yo, and that's when ShadowAce isn't on the mic, because ShadowAce has been on the mic at least a couple of times here. I'm sure we're not the only place that he's been representing. But big ups to ShadowAce. Making top 16 is still no slouch. But AlexDotDot moving on, still has a hard bracket ahead of them in loser side top 8, and his opponent in the loser side top 8 will be either BrianF or the winner of Sabo 14 and Metro M. So that is not an easy pull in loser side top 8.
Yeah, I mean, we saw Sabo a little bit earlier coming in with that Mika looking super strong and willing to have that grappler kind of style of patience of, you know, waiting and letting his opponent come to him, or responding in kind to the heat that his opponent was bringing and just, you know, rope a dope, loop you back to the corner. Now you got to guess. Then Metro M, I mean, this man, his accolades kind of speak for himself. You know, a finalist at you know, CPT East Coast Online 1 this year. Always a super strong. Vega has won RSF East Coast a couple of times. Looked super strong in the RSF Royal Rumble that happened. You know, the Metro M, definitely a strong player and somebody to look out for. And BrianF, you know, we've all heard of BrianF looking super strong.
Yeah, I think that ends up a really difficult pull. Speaking to the Sabo versus Metro M matchup, that ends up a difficult pull because Metro M is going to be able to bring out a very similar energy to what we saw from Sabo's other match on stream, but obviously a character that's much better geared towards it. But we don't have to talk about that because instead we can talk about another loser side match, and this is also to get into top 8 of loser side, is Adnan versus ItachisLegacy.
Yeah, AdnanNYC, of course, has had a pretty long bracket to get here. He got knocked down into losers round 3. He lost to Marvisto 2-0. And since has beat Jupiter Steps. I don't know why I say Julia. And Hold the Salt, a Cammy player. So two pretty strong players here. Now he has to fight up against Ibuki, another not so great match for Dhalsim. But we'll see what he's able to bring to the table here. If he's able to bring that heat and burn up the competition, or if he's just going to get you know, stabbed to death with all these, you know, kunais and shurikens that Ibuki and ItachisLegacy can bring to the table.
Yeah, I mean, seeing Ibuki's legacy as much as I have seen them, in these really clutch tight matchups, I'm very used to seeing them just get just there and then overcommit in the wrong situation. Exactly like that. I even wonder
knock all the kunais out of the air.
He did. I think that had to have been an execution mistake. I don't understand what possesses you to throw all the kunai at 90 seconds on the clock in this matchup.
Yeah, I mean,
but
if
that's
you're,
exactly
if you're
the
looking,
thing that I'm talking about.
Yeah, I mean, it's a good way to look to punish those floats, but you really have to be careful with that because you lose so much of your ability to kind of go in without those kunais when you're Ibuki. But still able to do these command dashes, checks AdnanNYC out of the air there with the light DP, and it's just able to, you know, pressure AdnanNYC in this corner. AdnanNYC just keeping it patient, finds his activation point. Nice block on the mix. Right. Yep. And blocks the float into sniper as well, but just not, ItachisLegacy just not able to find really his spot to take his offense here. Gets out with the command dash. This could be something. I
mean, this ends up really tough. That had to have been, that was fishing for an activation into VT.
Yo, and he got the reset. Yeah, had to spend all of the meter there in order to get the kill, I think, from that low forward, or just the confirm there off of the shuriken. Maybe could have been a little bit more optimal if he had kunai still, right? He could have spent 1 bar, but, you know, you got to do what you got to do when you've spent it all.
Maybe it was deliberate. ItachisLegacy heard me trash talking the kunai release. It was like, look, I don't need kunai to win this matchup, Brad. But gonna have to see if you're able to. This round does have the kunai.
Yeah, we'll see if he opts to kind of spin them in a similar situation. Right now, these drills from AdnanNYC coming out big, but activation, what's the mix? Stayed in front this time, got the reset, ton of damage. 1 more reset, nice check from AdnanNYC.
AdnanNYC has VT available. Look for an activation at some point. Has not challenged at all those fireballs in that situation. I wonder if you do the sort of hit grab state, if the animation moves you forward enough, and if you stay in the animation for long enough, if you're able to avoid that fireball in that situation. But that's twice now that AdnanNYC has gotten away with the high arc fireball, and ItachisLegacy has not challenged.
You want to talk about what AdnanNYC is getting away with. It is these high octane drills, just locking down ItachisLegacy, not giving him any space. Just over and over again. Oh my goodness, he got the mix too. That's gonna stun. My God, he's looking pretty strong here. Yoga Anvil combo doesn't have enough, needs 1 more.
Sets up the fireball, blocks it that time. And if you're ItachisLegacy, you need to fish for exactly like that. You want a low forward into Shuriken or something. V skill into Shuriken finds the low forward, but you need maybe 3 hits if you want to make this happen. And just like that, your hit is over. V reversal out, and now Adnan has everything he needs. Command Dash gets challenged by the limb from Adnan, and Adnan takes that first game.
Yeah, once Adnan kind of got out of that situation post Shuriken, where he's like, okay, you spent this, you spent all of your V trigger to get this one mix up. I blocked the follow up. You spent your bar IB reversaled, so now you have no meter, or you have one other bar. But I'm so far away from you now that you have to spend everything just to try to approach, and you don't get any mix anymore. And that's exactly what Adnan did. He just kept that play, and he's just gonna snipe him out of the sky there with all the kunais. I think that's what he was looking for earlier.
It's such a I don't like it. This is the kind of thing, the way that ItachisLegacy uses the kunai so frivolously. I'm not.
It's a different style, right? And you have to be willing to be fluid, right? Sometimes he has to hold on to them because of the situation. Sometimes he has to let them rip because there's no other way to challenge that stasis float at that range.
But I feel like in this matchup in particular, you have to burn so much of your life as currency in order to get in against Dhalsim that you want the ability to do an EX kunai on block to continue your offense and chain off those plus frames, or at least force Adnan to engage with your offense with his V gauge. And if you throw away all your kunai on a hard read and don't get it, you lose that opportunity.
I don't think it's too much of a hard read. You can react to the stasis flow, but he couldn't react to that 50-50. He's going to get stunned for it, and that's going to be another round for Adnan, looking to take it here. Only needs one more round.
We're going to have to see how ItachisLegacy is able to make the adjustments. Max range slide, playing a little bit more aggressively with the ground movement. And I like the utilization of neutral jump at these ranges where Adnan was going for the drills as a solution to the problem. Tried to counterpoke under the high arc fireball that time, didn't work.
Yeah, and you see when that hits, he's able to get the full recharge. I think the only awkward situation was when Adnan was coming down with the jump fierce and knocked all the kunais out. That was the only time where it really felt wrong. Oh, and he got the reset, the fake punish. Like, he couldn't punish that DP there. Is able to get so much pressure here. Went to the other side. Adnan blocked. V reverse just to get the pressure. Oh, got counter hit. No confirm. Just resetting again. He can just chip out. Oh, but doesn't even need to.
That was tough. And that was almost a really great round for ItachisLegacy at the end there. But especially losing out all of that gray life on that regular throw was super problematic. It was like eating 2 throws. It's super tough. But ItachisLegacy, unfortunately, out of the tournament in the top 16. Adnan moves on. Tanachi versus Fluxwavez was played off stream. Fluxwavez taking it 2-1 over Tanachi, which sets up DiegoV and Fluxwavez as a top 16 losers match to play the winner of whom plays Adnan.
Yeah, but the only reason that DiegoV is down in losers is because he lost a Prophet. So, you know, big shout out Prophet in top 8. He's going to fight against Mooons, but we are going to get Fluxwavez on deck here just to see how strong this Canadian can be. Showing that Abigail in the lobby, although he is known for his poison, his Manat, his Mika, whatever other character he wants to play that week. Like the man has everything.
Yeah, and this is a player matchup that we have seen a non-zero amount of times. All the LI crew between Diego and Mooons and Marvisto are regulars in our top 8 appearances here at the Casa, as is Fluxwavez. So we have seen this matchup many a time. The question is going to be the characters selected. Obviously, Diego is traditionally a Ken player, but we've seen Diego picking different characters in the last couple of weeks. Notably, I think 2 weeks ago, if I recall correctly, Marvisto and Diego had a bet to see who could make it deeper in the bracket on the opposites main. So Marvisto played Ken all night and Diego played Ryu all night.
That's pretty good.
Well, what's sick too is Diego's Ryu. It was actually really interesting once I was made aware of it. You start to recognize the tendencies of the player in the Shoto, because another thing that they sometimes do for the Casa here is all 3 of them will play on one account from one location, which is kind of fun. But the whole thing was, you see Marvisto's account and you see Ryu and you assume it's going to be Marvisto. Diego is still rocking the Ryu. Fluxwave's hitting us with the poison.
Yeah, and we saw this match last night at Digital Havoc. I was commentating over there as well with Dells on Fire versus Flux, and it was looking pretty rough. But Diego, of course, is a different beast, getting these jump-ins to hit early just to put that threat into Flux's mind. All right, and look at
And
this range that he's controlling, like really walking forward to so Flux can't do like medium whip or crouch fierce for free, and allowed him to get a lot of damage here.
Yeah, one of the things that I really like about Diego's play is Diego is very, very good at switching between the space of playing in your face and playing really frame trap heavy and pressure heavy versus the willingness to just dash all the way out like we just witnessed and go straight to a fireball game. And his fireball game is very, very good.
Yeah, honestly, I think his biggest strength is just that ability to swap on a dime and do whatever he needs to, right? Like whether it's dashing in 3 times or back dashing 4 times, it's really strong there and really making Flux have to think a lot more about this neutral game. And so afraid of maybe a wake up DP there that, you know, Flux was just walking back trying to shimmy and he got clipped low into the EX Fireball and Diego's going to take that first round.
And this is one of the difficulties of a matchup like this. We just saw that 2 fireballs versus the trade of the whip stance ended up working out in Fluxwave's favor, but a strong DP here.
Yo,
okay,
he still got the crush on the parry. That was hella late.
Right, that's a really early activation from Fluxwaves.
Yeah, not only did he lose a lot of his life early on, he also got that crush with helps, and he just can't get away from this Ryu. My goodness, 2 crouch medium kicks hitting in a row, but nice walk under there from Diego, dodging the jump. Just not letting Flux really get any of his game plan started. Standing at a good range is Diego against these stand heavy punch whips, just really just not able to give Flux like any of the stuff that he wants here. Like this is truly immaculate spacing and understanding of where Flux is trying to play on the screen and adjusting immediately to that mindset.
I think it's very telling watching what Diego is doing here. Like backdashing so much, and once again another round is going to be decided by pixels. The shimmy once again walking back out of a throw shimmy mix-up and hitting with the low forward is Diego. 2 rounds for 2, a little bit of life left, and the right read in a throw no throw mix-up working out.
Yeah, and both times, whether Flux went for the option to shimmy and beat a throw, or whether he went for the option just to throw Diego just answered with that low forward, and it was right in both situations, like really understanding the spacing that he's standing at and the options that Flux has. And it's now just tossing these fireballs once Flux is afraid of, you know, the dash forwards, like afraid of, you know, holding this medium whip in order to trade.
Yeah, well, it's tough. Diego is making it very clear that there's only a certain range on the screen where Flux can feel like he can control the space. Diego is willing to, and this is what I alluded to in the beginning, we either see if he has to backdash and start to throw fireballs, that's what he does. If he can dash forward, he'll do that instead.
Yeah, but we're seeing here Flux kind of adjusting to the playstyle here, but landing on these slow fireballs now that Diego's mixing it up with, and is able to take over this corner control again, really forcing Flux to have to answer in multiple different ways here. The activation from Flux has a decent life lead here.
That back throw answering the round there for Flux. But one of the things to notice, right, is like if Fluxwaves is preparing for Diego to be in his face, he needs to make fundamentally different button choices than if he's trying to contest in that mid-range. And that's kind of what Diego is doing, and he's changing up that pace. When Diego starts to go in, Fluxwaves needs to pick buttons that do not contest the mid-range.
Yeah, especially, and we're seeing the adjustments here where he's using that stand light kick to really challenge the closer situations where he needs it. But the back throw here from Diego can switch up the entire pace of the match. Flux can no longer space himself appropriately, instead at the whim of Diego, but not a lot of life left. And challenging again, you see with that stand light kick, when he feels Diego have that moment of like, okay, I'm trying to play this back off game, these fireballs, I can't really back up here, the medium whip will trade and I'll lose. And so just looking super duper solid on the adjustment here of now not only does Diego have a read on when Fluxwave is looking for the long range options, but Fluxwave can now bring out the read on Diego's options now that they've been shown. But bringing a different look here with the forward fierce is really able to catch these stand fierces from Flux and even these medium whip stances, and able to catch them a little bit early in the start of those moves.
And there's something to point out that representing that forward fierce at that range is something we did not see until this third game. There's even here with Ryu in Street Fighter V 2020, year of our own, Osan, still pulling out different options, representing some set play. Wake up jab here from Fluxwavez, cashing out the second Molotov, setting up in the back, but the DP!
Yeah, Diego just with the read that some sort of slow button was going to come out, and the heavy DP, that strike invincibility that starts up later in that move, would blow right through those heavy whip moves, whether it's stand fierce or crouch fierce, right? Yo, triple dash and a DP there on the neutral jump. Diego's getting this read here, but trapped in the corner now.
Making these Shotos look so strong, but that V-Trigger 1 activation combo from Poison does so much damage. Dash in, dash out for the whiff punish. Doesn't quite cash out, but V-Trigger activated already for both players. Gets the fireball trap, day one.
Yo, another
Again?
DP, he's ready. These V-Trigger fireballs, and he's just swinging for the fences with the EX, and then he just back dashes and then dashes in 2 times, catching Flux again, unaware of these options. And so this is the back and forth that we're seeing. And unfortunately, the swing from Diego was so strong that Flux didn't have the time to properly counter the switch up in the dashing style or the range that he's trying to sit on the screen. So it's an excellent understanding from Diego that he didn't need to win both games straight. Like, he could set up that second game in order to make Flux think that like some different options were going to come in that third game, when in fact it was just going to be back to what that first game really was, that heavy dash style, that heavy do you know where I'm going to be kind of style.